your paint is really going to make or break your painting. And I'm going to explain the two. So remember, student grade, professional grade. Student grade, the reason why I don't recommend the student grade is that it has synthetic fillers and binders. There's probably like this much pigment and this much filler. Okay, that's why it's called a filler. But then you have the binder, which takes up another part of that. And the binder is what keeps the pigment mixed in with that filler. Okay. In student grade, those are synthetics. Have you ever gotten like a watercolor palette for, that's school age for kids, and you're adding water to it, and you're adding water to it, go to the paper and it's really light? That's all synthetics. Very little pigment, the rest of it synthetics. With student grade, you have less color choices. They also use far less pigment. So not only are a lot of the pigments manufactured to look like other pigments, synthetic, but they use far less in it. So your colors when you're painting aren't as bold and vibrant. So when you go to a gallery and you look at watercolors, like, oh wow, that's so beautiful. And then you go to your paper, I don't get it. Why you buy it? Professional grade watercolors, on the other hand, are usually binded by gum arabic. Traditionally, they were binded by honey. Okay. And the fillers are naturally derived and they have a lot more pigment. Last longer, they don't fade. Student grade does. Professional grade watercolors have much longer lifespan in the elements. The other thing is that you add water to professional watercolor paint and it just starts to blend almost immediately. Student grade, you got to work at it a little bit. You got to really kind of mix it in there. You'll see little chunks of paint in there, and it'll take a lot of work to get a nice, consistent, smooth paint. You go to the store and you look at the price of the professional watercolors, and your mind is blown because it's like the paper, right? You're like, I am not going to spend $15 on a tube this size. You want the professional grade, but you can't afford the professional grade. So you're looking at the student grade, but what do you get? Winsor Newton makes professional watercolor paper, professional watercolor paints, but they also make student grade paints. And from my experience, they really are the best student grade paints. I really rather not recommend anybody other than Cottman's. What's nice though is that you can get a little palette. This is not it, but like this size with pans like this, and those range about $20. So professional grade watercolors, I wanted to tell you about that. If you want to go that route, what you can find are dot sheets. Not every company does this, but Winsor Newton does now, finally. Yay, 72 colors. And these are Daniel Smith's. Those are the two paints I primarily use. Daniel Smith has 238 colors, so you get 4 sheets. This is real watercolor on watercolor paper, and you can use it. Like, I have made full-blown paintings using these. Dot sheets are so helpful. I've used this one so many times. Maybe that's the one I should go grab. They come in the 5 mils. So you don't have to buy the big guy. You can do the little guys. Purchase just a couple of little guys. And then, you have the student grade Cottmans, and then you have the professional grade, and you can paint with both of them and say, ooh, you can see the difference. You can feel the difference in your brush. And I love watching my students go, what? Told you so. Pan tubes. She said to buy the pans, but then she said that I can buy the tubes. I will give you the reasons, good and bad, for both, and then you can make your own decision. Pans. Pluses of pans. Very portable, right? Very organized for you. You don't have to do all the organization yourself. They're not very big. Doesn't really give me a whole lot of room to, this just doesn't make a whole lot of sense, right? It's like trying to put the square inside the circle. Is that how that goes? What's nice about the tubes is you could basically put paint on any water resistant surface. So you can use a big palette, put paint down, and I can grab my water and I can fill up a whole space by pulling color from that one little bead of paint. Beads. Downfall is that they get a little messy. A lot of times the caps don't go all the way back on. You probably would always get your caps back on. Me, I'm not. The other thing about pans is that they choose the colors for you. Tubes, I get to choose the colors that I want. You can purchase little pans to add. Take them out. Okay. Glass, porcelain, and metal are the best ones. This was a butter dish. My mom's cat broke the top. I'm like, ooh, I'd like to try that. It's milk glass. Perfect for watercolor. A lot of the plastic ones that they make nowadays. So you'll see this like at Michael's and Hobby Lobby. But it stains, but it doesn't really hold the paint very well. It beads up a lot. And I've used this palette for years and it's just now starting to kind of hold the paint. Whereas right when I started working with this guy, you can see all the paint spread out and it dries all spread out. I can actually see the color when I'm mixing. If it just beads up when I'm mixing in here, it's hard to see the color and know what I'm doing. But this is my actual palette. And I bought this palette empty, and these are colors that I put in using my tubes. So I just squeeze those colors in there and let it dry. And so that's my palette. It holds 47 colors, 42 colors, something like that. Not enough space for all my colors. I'll just say that.